Oh, that means I'm not going to tell any stories about Eva then.
You wouldn't do that anyway.
More stories of Eva.
All right, I'm putting us on mute. Okay. Good luck, Lauren.
So Maria, should I go ahead and start then?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right. Great. Well, hello, everyone. Scattered wherever you are in your homes, living rooms, and Kintor. I'm currently sitting right now in my room in Rome, Italy. And I was asked today to just tell you a little bit about, some people call it UNIV, you may hear different pronunciations, about the UNIV workshop that takes place normally in Rome. This year, let's see what happens. I'm not exactly sure if it will be completely online or if there will be some chance of coming. But what I'll tell you today can also apply for the future, because maybe this year it's not really realistic to be in Rome. The year after that or the year after that, perhaps you'll think about coming, because it's open to university students and even some young professionals who have recently finished, or maybe you're doing a master's. So even if this year you're not thinking about flying across the Atlantic, keep it in mind for the next couple of next couple years where you might have spring break lineup. So just to introduce myself briefly, my name is Lauren. I am from the United States, from Wisconsin, so not too far away from Canada. And I studied philosophy at Princeton University in New Jersey, also minored in neuroscience. And then after that, I did not really have a clear job plan. As you can imagine with philosophy majors, sometimes the question is, oh, so what are you going to do with that? And the answer was, well, I don't really know yet. So where I ended up working was in technology as a technical writer, which means someone who writes documentation explaining how to use software. And including a few years I worked at Google in their New York and their Boston offices, which was quite a unique and very special experience. I loved working there. Now I am in Rome studying philosophy, getting a master's, because there are some big existential questions that I would still like to understand better. Because with technology, it can be very powerful, but if you don't really know what you're trying to build or what kind of society you have in mind, it's like having a giant boat but not knowing where you want to go with it. So that's what I'm doing here. Rome is also where I met Eva. So we were studying together and had lots of adventures around here. So I'm going to share now just a brief presentation to give you an idea of what UNIV is. And let's see, I'm going to share sound as well. All right, so hopefully you can see this now.
Canada.
Yes. Even had some photos. We had photos from people from different countries, and there even happened to be one from Canada. So UNIV Inspire 2021, where you get to see the world from Rome, or this year, you'll definitely be able to see it from your browser as well, from the comfort of home. So what is UNIV? Just to introduce it, here's a short video. Let's see, and hope if you don't see if you don't hear the sound, I don't know if you heard that brief part. Did you hear the sound briefly there? Okay, great.
¿Qué es el UNIV? Es un congreso universitario que nació en 1968 con el fin de que jóvenes de los 5 continentes pudieran participar de una experiencia de fuerte impacto en Roma. Si tuviera que definir el UNIV en 2 palabras, diría universidad y universalidad. Universidad porque es el espíritu universitario el que potencia la participación de miles de jóvenes cada año en el UNIV.
Working on the UNIV papers is actually a world of amazing adventures. To do this, every year there's a topic which usually has something to do with the problems in society, something which has a link with contemporary societal issues.
Y universalidad porque El UNIV es una experiencia única en la que uno puede intercambiar experiencias, dialogar con gente de distintas culturas, idiomas, costumbres, gente tan distinta pero que al mismo tiempo comparte ese mismo ideal, que es ese querer cambiar la sociedad, su entorno para bien.
Being in Rome, being with the Holy Father is just, yeah, being so close to him. You can feel that we are really, really part of the church and that it's huge. The church is huge, but it doesn't make you feel small. It makes you feel like you're part of something big, something that's been here for thousands and thousands of years. You can see that it's been here for thousands and thousands of years. So I think I've been inspired in my faith, and all because of UNIV.
Desde Roma, que es el centro y la cuna de la cristiandad, queremos que en el UNIV nazcan y crezcan esas ideas jóvenes, de los jóvenes y también para los jóvenes.
Great. So as they mentioned, UNIV actually started in the 60s in a climate where there was a lot of clamor by young people to change, university students especially. And so UNIV was started at the initiative of a Spanish priest named Jose Maria Escrivá, who was living in Rome at the time. And he wanted to create a space where young people from different countries could come together and talk about how they saw their societies, their cultures, what problems they saw, what solutions they had, to help them realize that they were the ones who were going to start changes that could actually solve these bigger problems that perhaps maybe seem like only politics could solve, or maybe only economic means, but really it had to come from young people who were living in those situations, living in those communities, who were themselves inspired to speak up and start making a difference. And so 1968, I believe, is originally mostly European countries that came, but now there's roughly, let's say, I don't want to get the numbers wrong, I believe at least 40 countries, perhaps more, where people come to Rome during the week before Easter, normally around 900 or 1,000 students. And every year they come and they get to experience Rome, its art, its history. And then they also are coming to talk about a particular topic, which changes every year. So I would say that the three strong points of UNIV are global vision, inspiring leadership, and a place where friendships can really deepen. Why do I say global vision? Well, for one, you're simply with people from all over the world, both people who are coming to UNIV and also just the people that you see in the streets who come to Rome anyway. You might see a huge bus of people from China or a large group of young students from Germany. So you're walking through the streets and you're hearing different languages. Sometimes it's a fun game to play of guess what language the people next to you are speaking, because you're like, I don't know if it's Polish or Dutch or Russian, but it's definitely not English. And as I'm sure you know from your experiences in the university, where you meet people from very different backgrounds or who have very different points of view, those differences enrich us when we're with people who have come perhaps from a different culture, or are interested in different topics. Maybe they study chemistry and you're a literature major. Those conversations help you to broaden your mind and your way of seeing the world. You might learn about different education systems from other countries that are completely different from what you're used to. Or you might hear about a very different way of solving a problem that you're facing yourself. It also gives you a global vision because you're in Rome, which has so much history, so much art. The architecture visually is completely different, perhaps from what we're more used to in North America. And you see, for example, the engineering feats of the Romans, whether it's the Colosseum or the Via Appia, where you realize, wow, these streets were built thousands of years ago, and yet they were so well built that they're still around today. So global vision. Then leadership. I would say the place where leadership is especially seen in UNIV is how much it really depends on you about what you're going to make of it, in the sense that it gives you so many opportunities to meet other people, to hear different ideas, to see the historical sites in Rome. But it's really up to you to want that, because the other option is you could just show up and say, well, whatever the plan is, I'll just go along with it. And I'll see what time they tell me to get on the bus. I'll get up when they tell me to wake up in the morning. But if you don't put your head into it and say, I want to get the most out of this that I can, it could just end up being, a nice travel experience, but not something where you really come back and said, I've gotten to meet fascinating people. I've had life-changing experiences. And sometimes those life-changing experiences are not what you expected, in the sense of, maybe you missed your bus and you had to end up sitting in the rain waiting for another bus to come. And in that process, you learned a lot about the people in your group, or you learned about how to, really try to keep people's morale up when everyone's like just wet and wants to go back and sleep. So it's a chance where you get to grow a lot as well, given the challenges that may come up during the week. And finally, friendship. This part is equally true even if UNIV is online, because the time that you spend with people getting ready for UNIV is where you can have those longer conversations based on the topic of that year. If you're submitting a project, you're going to have to sit down and talk about, what do you think about this project? How should we present it? What solutions do we have? And then during the week itself, again, if you're physically in Rome, you're spending a lot of quality time with people because you're with each other from breakfast until after dinner and late into the night talking. And it's a unique chance to get to know someone else in a very different way. Maybe, it's the first time that one of you has been out of the country. For instance, I don't, just from a show of hands, how many of you have been able to travel outside the country before? A couple people, that's great. Has anyone been to more than 2 countries outside of their home country? Ooh, so you guys are pretty well traveled. So at least you've had that experience of how to get yourself oriented in a new city. I've never been outside the country before the first time I went to Rome. And so we ended up getting on the tram without knowing like which direction it was going in. You know how you have a trains that say, okay, destination in the north is this one. And if you're going to the south, like this is the end destination. We didn't remember what the destination was to get to the dorm where we were sleeping. So we just kind of picked a tram and got on it. And thankfully it happened to be the right direction. But at least if you've traveled before, you know how to read maps. That's very important as well for surviving. So that said, on a personal note, I went to UNIV when I was my first year in university, so quite some time ago. I'm not going to say how many years exactly, but this was me the first time I went. And yes, the Italians really do park like that. That is actually a very common sight. I have to say it's not very friendly for anyone who has a stroller or a wheelchair, because the cars will just like park over the curb cuts where you're supposed to be able to walk. So it's kind of a crazy, take what you can get situation with the parking in Italy. But thankfully you're walking most of the time. You're not actually driving. So that was for me the first time seeing so many people from all over the world in one place. In St. Peter's, you get thousands of people coming to see the Pope. And it's impressive just to see this sea of humanity from countries that you've never been to or maybe never met anyone from. And then on the left, I'm sitting on one of the columns in the Roman Forum where you're able to get up close and literally kind of touch history. You've maybe learned about the Roman emperors in history class, and it's like, I don't even know who came first. Was it Augustus or Tiberius? But then you're actually seeing where they lived and seeing buildings that they built. So getting in touch with that larger sense of history, that larger sense of, wow, I'm from perhaps my country, my culture, but there are so many other cultures out there that have contributed to the art and the science that humanity benefits from right now. And this is a picture from a couple years ago. Little did I know when I went to UNIV the first time that I would actually end up being on the team that helps plan UNIV. So this is me with part of a team. In the middle is a woman named Rocio from Mexico, and on the right, someone named Jacqueline from Canada. I don't know if any of you have met her. She's a doctor. And so that was a completely different perspective, being on the planning committee and realizing, wow, the logistics of this are very complicated. But it's also amazing because the whole year you're thinking, okay, right now it's all like spreadsheets and Google Docs, but like there are 1,000 people, like real living, breathing people that we're doing this for, who are coming here, who are going to have hopefully an incredible experience. So I can tell you that UNIV is really made thinking about the people who are going to come. How can this help them? Like what kind of experiences can we create for people? What opportunities for conversations. So anyway, the team is working right now. Well, not right now. I hope they're on vacation and relaxing a bit. But they are actively working, probably just 20-minute walk away from where I am right now, thinking about how to make this year's UNIV very special. So just to give you a sense of what a normal non-COVID UNIV is like, it's a week long. It's the week before Easter. People come starting on Saturday or Sunday. Some of the European countries take buses so they can show up on Sunday, but a lot of the international, like cross-Atlantic, or if you're coming from another continent, those groups tend to arrive on Saturday so you can get settled. And then Sunday, you can explore Rome a bit. Then Monday, there's an international talent show. Tuesday, there's the keynote speaker based on the UNIV topic, and then there's the student presentations. So if you're interested in the digital part, this is where you would have the chance to present your project. Then on Wednesday, the main event is every Wednesday, the Pope has an audience in St. Peter's Square. So you get, everyone showing up there. It's a giant line, etc. You hope it doesn't rain, because if it rains, well, it's just a little bit interesting. So Thursday, then there's breakout sessions, which might be topics on the architecture of Rome, or a topic on leadership styles. So that depends year to year on what speakers are available, but kind of general cultural or historical interest. Or you can even propose a speaker if you know someone is coming in your group who is amazing at a particular topic. You could propose to the organizing team, could this person have a room and give a talk about her research or whatever it happens to be? Then Friday and Saturday are kind of dedicated to exploring Rome. Throughout all of this, none of these events are like the whole day. There's always time to stop by some landmark or have lunch in a park somewhere. But Friday and Saturday are much more open. It's really, you're just exploring Rome all day. And then Sunday, people start heading home around, after breakfast or lunchtime. So all in all, about a week. And just to give you some of those images of what that tends to look like. This is another short video. This is not the official UNIV. This is something that I made with photos that the communication team had. So let's take a look at that. So there's one photo here. I don't know if you happen to recognize anyone. I know this is being recorded, but that's me on the right, and that on the left is someone you may recognize. So one year for the talent show, I ended up being a co-MC, and there was a group from Lebanon who had these fezzes on during their number, and so they gave us the hats afterwards, so we put them on. But that was quite an experience, being in front of 1,000 people and trying to direct a talent show that had people coming up last minute and saying, hey, can I do this traditional dance from Spain? Or can we have 50 girls come up from Barcelona and do something? Or there was another photo I think you saw of 2 girls from Paraguay who were doing a traditional dance, like a ballet, with bottles balanced on their heads. So anyway, the International Talent Show is definitely one of the highlights of the week. Alrighty, so with all this trajectory in mind, the topic for this year's UNIV is Navigate, Seeking a Solid Foundation in a Liquid Society. And just to unpack that a little bit, this topic will be what people develop their projects on throughout the months leading up to UNIV itself. And on the website, they explain a little bit what is behind this topic. And it says, in our society of constant changes, ideas flow continuously at the mercy of the current trend and slide away without a trace. Nothing seems stable or permanent, and nothing, not even significant interpersonal relationships, seems deserving of commitment or dedication. We are faced with the temptation of cynicism or disillusionment. Instead, the most necessary and invigorating action we can take is to dare to think, to dare to trust in the human capacity, to discover the solid ground that we need to build bridges with others, and to undertake the changes that our contemporary world needs. So these topics tend to be very open in the sense that you can apply it to any field that you happen to study or needs that you see in your community. So it's not meant to be something so specific as how can we solve distribution problems for the COVID vaccine? That would be like too specific. It's meant to be open because they realize people study many different things. I don't know if you guys have the chat handy, but just to get a sense of what you study, maybe you can write in the chat, for example, like what's the field that you're studying right now, or I don't know, what's an area you're very interested in. Feel free to go ahead and just write Maybe it's what you're actually majoring in, or maybe it's something a hobby that you're passionate about. Let's see, statistics and life sciences, science, hospitality. Oh wow, already we have quite a bit of variety here. So it'd be really interesting to hear afterwards how each of you, when you see this topic, how do you transfer that, or how do you apply that? What jumps to your mind in your own field? Double major in human bio and psychology. Oh wow, fascinating. So this idea of how to orient yourself, how to find direction, this could be at a personal level. How do you help people discover what their bigger goals are in life, or what the type of person they want to be? Or it could be within your specific fields, maybe that you feel that your field has lost a bit of direction, or maybe they're constantly reinventing themselves. So in the past, just to give you an idea of some of the other topics, last year, UNIV was canceled, unfortunately, but the theme was going to be next generation leaders. Before that, the transformative power of work, rethinking the future, a world in movement, which you saw everything from dance to immigration. So movement was a very broad category. The family impact and friendship model for a new citizenship. All right, so with the twist of most things being online this year, there's a new format called Global Hack, which they'll be releasing more information about shortly. And this is going to be the way that you can participate by submitting student presentations. Normally what happens is you would get the topic, you would write a paper, propose a solution, you would submit it, it would be evaluated, selected, and then you'd present in person in Rome if you were selected. This year, knowing that many people can't travel, it's going to be in an online format. And so here's some more details about that. Global is a combination of global and local. So you're taking a global community, this global group of young people coming to UNIV, but then you're trying to make it local, saying, let's not stay up in the clouds, theories that are really hard to apply. Let's think about challenges that we're facing specifically right here, right now. So there will be a set of challenges that you can choose from, kind of like subtopics or subproblems, and then you work with a team and you propose a solution and submit it. The official details are still in the process of getting published, so I'm not going to say more since I don't know the actual final details, but they will be coming out on univinspire.org. So if you're interested in getting together with friends, proposing a solution, that's how you can participate through the global hack. Alrighty, so now we come to a little bit more of the competitive or fun part of the presentation. So let's see, if you were going to Rome, let's imagine that you got your ticket, or you're starting to think about, asking your grandparents for a little bit of help getting your plane ticket. How ready are you? So we're gonna play Kahoot right now. If you have your phone or your computer, you can join. So I will share that. Let's see, pause that. All right, unfortunately, I can't promise you any prizes. I could transmit you digital chocolates if you win. So this is just for fun. It's a little bit of Rome trivia, a little bit of UNIV trivia to see if what you picked up during the video. See, okay, so can you see the number now? Okay. Gabby already wins a prize for the fastest to log in. Let's see, is there anyone else need to join still? Looks like everyone's set. Okay, so we're okay with starting? All right, it's pretty short, it's only 11 questions. So after exams, this should be a total breeze. All right, so it's a short-term memory test. Wow, okay, pretty good, pretty good. So, the nameless chef is currently in first place. This I did not mention. This is just kind of, Rome trivia. Oh, wow, pretty good. Does anyone know what happens if you throw 2 coins in? You put it in the chat if you want, or you can just say it all that. Apparently, if you throw 2 coins in, you'll fall in love in Rome. And if you throw 3 coins in, you'll end up getting married in Rome. This is what they say. This is a bit trickier because you'd have to actually have been to Rome, so that's why it's double points. Oh, pretty good. Some of you got it. Yeah, the Colosseum and the Roman Forum are a good stop. Nameless chef, are they willing to reveal their identity yet? Ah, very good, very good. Pretty good. Yeah, you're all set to go there. If you want to say please, per favore, and grazie is, of course, thank you. Still unseated. This is also a bit trickier trivia, so that's why it's double points. Wow, pretty good. 2 people got. So yeah, Jorge Maria Bergoglio, or George Mary, if you wanted to translate it into English. Very good. The one person who picked the last one, I'm sorry if I didn't communicate that well enough. I hate the people with the best outfits in Rome. Very good, the Swiss Guards. You have to be a Swiss citizen to be in the Swiss Guards. A little bit of art history. Great. And one trivia is you always have to bring coins with you because you have to pay to turn the lights on the painting. So if you go, it's all in the dark and you have to put in, I don't know if it's 1 year or 2 years, and then it lights up for like 1 minute. So you take your photos, you stare at it as much as you can, and then the lights go off again. That's how they make their money. Everyone's got to make their way in the world. Very good. We have some historians here. All right, this isn't worth any points because there's probably no way you could know this, but after this, you have no excuses for not knowing. And this photo was not taken at that place, so don't try reading the label on the gelato because it won't help you. Eva, is this still true? I hope I got this right. Yes, the Frigidarium, which is like this tiny hole in the wall, but then it will have like a line down the block. So yes, but all of these are real gelato places here. La Romana is pretty famous, and Old Bridge as well. All right, let's see who our winners are. Excellent. Got someone ready here to pack her suitcase? In first place, Nameless Chef. Okay, who is Nameless Chef?
That's me. That's me.
Have you been to UNIV, Maria?
Yeah, I went twice with a group of students. Great.
Oh. Man, we should have given you a handicap. That is a serious, serious advantage there.
I didn't know Eva's ice cream though. I just guessed.
Awesome. Well, I hope they give you a taste of all the types of adventures that await you in Rome. So that's all I had. And if you guys have any questions now, or just wanted to, I don't know, share experiences, Maria or Eva. I don't know, has anyone else ever been before? Who's on the call? Oh, person. I see one person in the middle. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. What's her name?
Queenie.
Ah, Queenie. Ah, okay. Probably another veteran. So anyway, questions, observations. If you have a question about what something is like in Rome, and then anyone who's been here can answer to it. It doesn't just have to be me.
Well, what's your favorite part of Uni, Lauren?
Ooh, my favorite part. Well, from the organizational point of view, I know that this is more recent, but I think the teamwork, this is when I was on the team helping to organize it. I learned a lot about teamwork and communication. You're also working with people from different countries. So even if you're all trying to communicate in the same language, culturally, there are some things that are harder to communicate, different ways of communicating, people have different styles. Some people are super document everything and put it in a list. Other people are like, yeah, I'm going to do that sometime next week. And so depending on your personality, it's a bit of an interesting dynamic. From the participant point of view, I will have to say when I went to UNIV, I wasn't really as interested in the topic of the keynote speaker. I was really more interested in the history, in seeing Rome. So everyone comes, with different goals in mind. Some people really come for the academic part. Some people really come for I just wanted to see Rome, to live for a week in a different country. So I think I just love being like in a completely different context where you couldn't depend on your own habits, on your own way of operating in your everyday surroundings. I had to be a lot more aware of what you were doing, be much more willing to ask other people for help because you were totally lost. So I guess that experience of learning how to be a bit more independent in another country, and learning how to ask for help a lot, especially for directions. I don't know if Eva or Maria, you guys would like to share, or Queenie, your favorite parts of being in Rome. Maria, how about you?
I loved going to St. Peter's. I think the first time I went was 3 years ago. I went with a group of grade 12 students from Ashler, my center, and it was just so beautiful. I'd never been to Rome before, and you're there for Palm Sunday. And that was so beautiful. You see the Pope for the very first time and all these palms. Like that for me, I was like, oh, like myself and all the girls were like all in awe. And I didn't know what to say. That was beautiful. And the talent show. And I had to, Kate, that talent show, the one where you both, Eva and Lauren, were emceeing. So that year I went, and I'm a quarter Lebanese. And the two girls I went with are Lebanese descendants, like they're Canadian. So they just joined. They weren't even part of the Lebanon country, but they saw them with the Lebanon flag. So we're like, oh, can we join the dance? So then the Lebanese girls were like, yeah, sure. So it was like really random. They just like hop on, and they were so happy. They're like, wow, there's other like Catholics that are from like Lebanon, because like they hadn't met any others like in Canada. So I think they really enjoyed that too.
That's the crazy, like those encounters that you have where you just randomly meet someone from another country and instantly connect.
Yeah.
That's great.
You, Eva?
I think I went to Uni like as a participant. My favorite part, and actually my favorite part was Holy Thursday night, like after the Mass, which is beautiful. But then the 7 churches, so just walking around Rome at nighttime, and the churches are beautiful. And you see all the groups kind of doing the same thing, so you actually end up like meeting up with a lot of people at that time, and it's obviously beautiful. And like the best is yet to come, because the whole like what's it called, the Passion is about to begin. So like wow, the heavy stuff is coming now, so it's pretty exciting. That's and then I worked with Lauren, so yes, working for the UNIV team is such an experience, so many memories, oh my goodness. But it was beautiful. I can't think of anything right now. Well, obviously the Pope. That was really cool. The Wednesday audience. Yeah. But I think the Holy Thursday is kind of special for me.
That's funny, Eva, because like
Oh, Queenie has something she wants to say.
So, so yeah, I was in Rome, and then for UNIV, there were a number of people, I think on Easter Sunday, who wanted to go like really early to see the Holy Father for Easter Sunday Mass in St. Peter's Square and get the blessing. So some people in our group, they woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning just to go to St. Peter's. My friend Krishna and I weren't so dedicated, but we wanted to go as well. Anyway, we ended up kind of arriving a little late, and then we ended up arriving at the Via Conciliazione, just at the edge, and we couldn't even go into the square because there were guards. But anyway, there were crowds who wanted to go in to St. Peter's, but we couldn't because the gates were closed. Anyway, and then what happened was people were pushing us, and then my friend wanted to throw up. So she mentioned it, and then everybody else paved the way and said, vomitar, vomitar, or whatever. Anyway, so the Swiss guard let her in so that she could breathe. She didn't throw up. And then he said, okay, you go to first aid. And I said, hey, me too, me too. So we both went to, first aid. And then after going to first aid, we were just following the crowd, following the path that was available. And we ended up on stage behind the cardinals, for the Mass with the Holy Father.
Ah, Queenie!
Yeah, so.
You're so lucky.
Just follow some sick person, you'll get a great seat.
But she was serious about the vomiting?
Yeah,
She
really.
didn't make that up.
No, she was serious about vomiting. And then she normally didn't have breakfast, but that day she had breakfast and she was just so happy. There we go.
Aww. Get started.
So you have to learn to live with the unexpected. Like if you're a planning obsessed person, you can try to plan everything, but you just have to accept that like the things are going to be completely unpredictable after a certain point. You just have to like go with the flow like that and take advantage of opportunities when they come up. Like you said, Queenie. Did anyone have any other questions or things they wanted to share?
Well, Gabby, you've been to Rome. What was your favorite part of Rome? You weren't there for Uni, but
Yeah.
you were.
No, I was there for a senior trip. So we went to Greece for a couple days, and then we went to Rome. Our religion teacher is the one who took us, and he lived in Rome for a while, and he was like a unregistered tour guide, so very secret. But he knew all the places, so he took us around to the different attractions and like gave us a more in-depth kind of thing, and he always bought us gelato by the end of the night, so that was great. We went to this church, I think is St. Clementine, something like that, where they have like the 3rd century Roman house on the bottom, and then another church on top, and then the newer church. So it had like 3 layers of history on it. We went to see where St. Peter was buried, the Roman Forum. We met up with Eva at St. Peter's Square. Yeah, it was really fun. It was a great time.
I'm impressed you still remember the details about St. Clement's. Must have made an impact.
Yeah.
And gelato makes everything better. Like at the end of a hard day, it's like all is forgiven if there's gelato.
Anyone else? Any other comments or questions for Lauren while we have her here?
You can always write afterwards too, and of course you have experts there as well between Eva and Queenie.
Thank you, Lauren.
Great. Yeah, I hope you guys whether you're thinking about coming this year or next year, but or just traveling to another country in general, I'm sure you're already thinking about where you'd like to go next. So anyway, best of luck with the next semester. I hope you all get to relax a little bit on vacation, talk to your friends and family. So thanks so much for inviting me, Eva. It's been so great to get to see some of these faces that you've mentioned. So it's great meeting all of you.
Thank you, Lauren. Have a good night.
Merry
Have fun
Christmas.
baking. Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
Take care.
bye. Stay safe.
Yes, definitely. You too. Take care.
Wow, we're so lucky. We have someone from Rome coming to Toronto. That's cool. And it's still in the works, but like one thing we were thinking is having our own local UNIV at Kintor. Because I mean, chances that we're going to be able to go to Rome are very, very low. But wouldn't that be cool? And like we transformed the lower level of Kintor for those who've been into like Italy. Anyways, it's just an idea. Okay, so now do you guys want to start baking? Yeah, Shaylee looks excited. Same with Gabby. I don't know about Ina. I can't see Ina.
I'm sure she's excited.
And Eva, you look very excited too. Do you have your ingredients ready?
No. We have done so much baking at Kintor this past week. I'm here just to enjoy everything.
I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm gonna go down to my kitchen.